Alrighty, so yesterday I did a video where I take a look at every single team in MLS and why they can't win MLS Cup. Today we're going to do the opposite. We're going to look at every single MLS team heading into the 2022 MLS regular season and why they can win MLS Cup this year. And I've also said in my video yesterday of how hard it is in terms of making these kind of video, but I feel like this is even harder with the way that we know for a fact that only one of these teams out of these 28 teams is going to be MLS Cup champion in 2022. And I feel like I've also have to be a little bit creative, but also kind of feels like it's a little bit silly in terms of actually talk about teams that, yeah, they just have no shot of winning MLS Cup, but I still have to come up with a reason of them winning an MLS Cup. And you'll see. You'll definitely see when I do talk about those specific teams, and especially teams that are currently rebuilding heading into this season. So we start off with Atlanta United. So yesterday I start with the alphabetical order in the Western Conference before I talk about the Eastern Conference. Today I'm going to switch it around and do what I have done before, where I always start with the East before I go to the Western Conference. And we start off with Atlanta United and why they can win MLS Cup this season. Well, because they have Joseph Martinez in their team, and that, you know, anytime when you have Joseph Martinez in your team, you're definitely going to be a playoff team and potentially could go deep into the playoffs. But it's also, I would say, that Thiago Amanda turns out to be just as good as what we saw with Miguel Almiron, and Amanda and Martinez is going to have that Almiron kind of Martinez partnership that was a big part of their run to make it to the 2018 MLS Cup. And add to the fact that they also have good supporting cast and a relatively good defense in their team, then yeah, this team definitely has a shot in terms of winning MLS Cup this season. Charlotte FC. Now, this is where we started to get into the tough team to really come up with a reason why they're going to win MLS Cup. And I guess I would say that, you know, maybe they're not as screwed as what we thought it is. And maybe what Miguel Angel Ramirez is trying to say is that, yeah, we're going to say that we're screwed, so you're going to underestimate us and think this is going to be an easy 3 points whenever you play against us. But it turns out that, of course, is not going to be the case. Now, if I want to be a little bit realistic, I will say that, you know, even though they are having some problem in terms of filling out their roster, at least they still have those DP spot open. And if they can maybe sign some big name player in the summer transfer window, because usually in the summer this is a perfect time to do so, especially, you know, with the European transfer window. A lot of European team tends to do business during the summer transfer window. If they can get some big names heading into the summer and go on kind of like a Seattle Sounder-esque second half run, they can definitely have a chance of making an MLS Cup. I mean, it's a long stretch, but, you know, you never know. It could potentially happen. The Chicago Fire, the attacking talent. I mean, the attacking talent is definitely stacked, and today when they announced that Juro Torres is going to be coming to the team, yeah, this attack is definitely very scary. I mean, the only thing that I'll say that you know, from my video yesterday of why they won't win MLS Cup is that we've seen this before where the Fire has a lot of potential to do well this season, and it turns out that was not the case. Well, in this video, I'll say that eventually they finally get past that narrative of a team that is very inconsistent, and also a team that always makes some boneheaded play every single game to cost them the game, and that for once they're actually not going to make those boneheaded play anymore, and they're consistently going to be looking like an MLS Cup contender. Because when you look at this team, I mean, you know, if you ignore the defense, this is a really good team, and a team that I don't blame Fire fans to be probably the most excited that they had about this team for a very long time. FC Cincinnati. Again, this is where it gets tough because Cincinnati has not had any success whatsoever. I mean, they spent more time winning a wooden silverware, well, not just a wooden silverware, but more like woodenware than actually winning MLS Cup. But I guess for Cincinnati, you know, I guess Berner turns out to be a Golden Boot winner, and Lucho Acosta turns out to be like a Nico Ladero or Diego Valeri type of player, and maybe even go back to the Lucha Root kind of connection we saw in 2018 with DC United with him and Wayne Rooney. And then not to mention Alec Kahn that they signed from Atlanta United. He's going to be like Tyler Miller when Miller went to the expansion team LAFC from Seattle, and how Miller didn't really get a lot of time with Seattle, and that him joining another team has really helped his chance to be a regular starter in MLS, and it feels like Alarcon is the same story. I mean, he didn't really get a lot of minutes with Atlanta, and now he has a chance to live out the shadow of the position that Brad Guzan basically holds with Atlanta by joining an FC Cincinnati team that desperately need some good goalkeeper. Like when you cannot name one goalkeeper that FC Cincinnati has had since they came into the league that is actually decent whatsoever. And I think Alan Khan might be the first goalkeeper that might be a decent goalkeeper for this FC Cincinnati team. And again, I will say that he's going to be kind of become a goalkeeper of the year candidate, and that is kind of the way that FC Cincinnati can definitely win MLS Cup. Columbus. Why can they win MLS Cup? Well, they'll just do what they did in 2020. I mean, Lucas Zarian turns out to be an absolute beast. Pedro Santos, even though he is aging badly, started to produce once again. Jarzy Zardes started to be a 15-plus goal scorer once again. And their backline also started to look much more better compared to what we saw last season. That was a disastrous. And let's also not to mention, Caleb Porter has that weird trend where, when you miss the playoffs one year, the very next year, not only you're going to make it to the playoffs, but you're going to do well in the playoffs. So that's going to be something that is a reason why this team will win MLS Cup, because if you're according to the Caleb Porter pattern, it seems like that's going to be the case where this team is destined to have a chance to win MLS Cup. DC United. The Hearn Losada system is still haven't been figured out, and that it turns out that the player that they got in Michael Estrada, who I know I said that he hasn't done well with Toluca, but with the national team, he actually has done very well and was a key part of Ecuador's chances of qualifying from the World Cup in that brutal CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying stage. And it turns out he's going to show that same form when he joined DC United. And also, again, like I said, the Hearn Losada system is going to blossom, and no team is going to able to figure out a very high octane kind of style of play that Losada loves to implement with his DC team. Inter Miami. Why can they win MLS Cup? Well, Gonzalo Higuain turns back the clock and turns out to be a Golden Boot winner in this league, and not to mention all those young talent that they have. It turns out that they were they are going to excel expectation, and also let's not to mention Chris Henderson. He knows how to build an MLS Cup team, and with him in the helm and signing all those players, that instantly is going to make an impact to this team instead of maybe thinking them going for a rebuild. There's a chance that this team can definitely win MLS Cup. Montreal. Why can they win MLS Cup? I mean, it's kind of the same reason I said about Columbus last season that unfortunately did not work out, where this team is one of the deepest team in the league, and a team that has a lot of talent pretty much all over the field, and really don't have a lot of holes in terms of their team except for the goalkeeping position, though. At least from a small sample size that what we saw from Sebastian Briza in that game against Santos Laguna, and that if he's going to be like that throughout the regular season, then yeah, this team definitely has a chance to win MLS Cup this season. New England. Why can they win MLS Cup this season? Well, it's because they decided to assemble probably the best team we have seen since LAFC and Toronto did with some of the moves, and that it turns out maybe Bruce Arena is going to have that one last hurrah and finally fulfill the promise to bring this team to MLS Cup glory. I mean, in general, this is actually a pretty easy reason to say that they're an MLS Cup winner, because again, they just have so many good MLS Cup kind of caliber players to deliver this team the trophy. And not to mention, they're also going to be like the LA Rams in MLS, where a team that decided to go all in terms of this season, and at the end of the year, even though next season there could be question, those all-in move might turns out to be bad, they still were able to win MLS Cup at the end of the season, and that's when Bruce Arena is going to have his farewell from his legendary coaching career. NYCFC, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, they're probably one of the more prepared team to repeat from what we've seen the last couple of MLS Cup winner. I mean, you see this team, even if they do lose Tati Castellanos, they have some really good talented player like Santi Rodriguez and even Talos Magno being there. And not to mention, they also have a very stable midfield, and their defense is also really decent. And not to mention, they're also going to get probably their best player in defense in Anton Tinnerholm back this season. Yeah, this is a team that is definitely could have a big opportunity to repeat as MLS Cup champion, become the first team to repeat since the Galaxy did back in the 2011 and 2012 season. The New York Red Bulls, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, it feels like these players saw what happened when NYCFC win MLS Cup and use that as a motivation to really get them over the hump. And not to mention, Caden Clark will turns out to be a bona fide star and a guy that is kind of on a mission that he wants to improve RB Leipzig to not only when they get him back there, he's going to get minutes, but he could even be a starter for that team in the future. So yeah, that's kind of some of the reason why the Red Bulls would win MLS Cup. And also, you know the old saying, defense wins championship. The Red Bulls had a very good defense last year, and something tells me that defense will somehow carry them into winning MLS Cup and finally ending the "That's So Metro" kind of meme that's been haunting this team for 27 years right now. Orlando City, why they can win MLS Cup? Because again, you know, this is a very talented team. Like it's pretty much stacked from top to bottom. I mean, the only thing maybe a little bit concerned is the depth in terms of the defense, but you know, this is a really quality team. And Oscar Pereira, you know, we know that he's definitely a coach that has been proven to guide a team that has a very top heavy talent to go deep into the playoffs and even have a chance to potentially win MLS Cup. I mean, he came close with FC Dallas if it wasn't for them running into the Seattle Sounders juggernaut, but at least that team, of course, won Supporters Shield, and that, you know, if Orlando City can't win MLS Cup, maybe they can have a chance to at least win Supporters Shield for this upcoming season. The Philadelphia Union, again, same reason. This is a team that really doesn't have a lot of holes and have a lot of mix of talented veteran player alongside with some very talented player coming out of the Union Academy, and you know, in general, I think you could say that coming out of the East, who's going to be the favorites of reaching MLS Cup? I would say it's got to be the Union because of the depth and the young, exciting young talent that they have, mixed with also some veteran presence that will of course turns out to be good, and also Michael Arut will definitely be a huge upgrade to Shabilko and turns out to be a Golden Boot winner at the end of the season. Toronto FC, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, they have Bob Bradley, who has been proven that he can win MLS Cup with team. I mean, just don't ask it about his time with LAFC rather than doing his time with the Chicago Fire back in 1998. But in general, they have Lorenzo Insigne. I mean, Insigne is a game changer, and I've even said that he could definitely be considered the newcomer of the year, even though he came into the league in July, or he's not going to come into the league until July. And also, Sebastian Saucedo will finally start to solidify that defense and be that leader that they needed at that back line for a while now. And also, let's just say that they don't suffer any injury crisis whatsoever. And, you know, Pozuelo will also start to kind of have his MVP caliber form that he had in 2020 in this team. And you add all that together, they definitely can be a team that can win MLS Cup and go back to MLS Cup and be that dominant team that we saw a couple of years ago when they were regularly made it to MLS Cup out of the East. Now moving to the Western Conference and starting with Austin FC. I mean, you know, it's the second year. I mean, they can do what Atlanta United and LAFC can do, where they finally got the pieces to do so, and that, you know, they hope that the defense might not be as bad as some people describe, but you're going for on the attack. They have so many good weapons there. Jerussi will turns out to be an MVP in terms of this league, and Cecilio Dominguez can live up to his potential to be a lethal full goal scorer, and also Musa Jite will definitely be a guy that will definitely prove a lot of people wrong. That, you know, I know when you look at his stats number, it's not great whatsoever, but he's gonna prove people wrong that, you know, stats is just a number. It's about how he performed on the field, and I thought he definitely did well with this Austin FC team last year. The Colorado Rapids, why they can win MLS Cup? Because they, you know, Robin Fraser and also the teamwork belief. I mean, there's a reason why soccer/football is a team sport, and, you know, the Rapids has that philosophy of believing the team, of course, it is the star, even though I know they kind of stole that mode from RSL. And yeah, they're gonna prove that, you know, you don't really need any talented player to win an MLS Cup. As long as you have a team that believe in themselves and are very hardworking, you can definitely climb over that mountain and become MLS Cup champion. FC Dallas, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, they can definitely think about what they did a couple of years ago when they came so close of winning MLS Cup. Where we know during those FC Dallas team, it had a very good attack, and when you look at this Dallas team, it has a really good attack too. I mean, bring Paul Arriola this off season from DC is definitely a good move. And then there was another guy that Alan Velasco, the guy that they bought from down in Argentina. I think that's definitely a good signing to improve their number 9 position. And there was another big signing that they made that I'm blanking on right now, but I think he's going to do well and maybe even be an MVP kind of caliber player to guide this team to winning MLS Cup. The Houston Dynamo, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, if Hector Herrera signs with this team and he can show that the form that he's shown with the Mexican national team a couple of years ago, or even during his time with, I think he also spent time with Porto before he moved to Atletico Madrid. I could be wrong though. That could actually be the wrong Mexican play that I'm thinking of. But yeah, bring Hector Herrera. He's going to show that he still got it and just going to be tormenting the league throughout. And also, not to mention, Sebastian Ferreira is going to have a career year and definitely will be gunning to be that newcomer the year for this team to win MLS Cup. And not to mention, they also have an MLS Cup goalkeeper in Steve Clark. I mean, as long as he doesn't completely melt down as we've seen during his time in MLS Cup or his 2 MLS Cup kind of appearance, then this team definitely have a chance to win MLS Cup this season, even if you think that they're rebuilding. For the Galaxy, why they can win MLS Cup? Chicharito is going to carry this team. I mean, Chicharito is going to have a Carlos Vela kind of season, carry this team, and the defense is going to be just good enough. And also, Jonathan Bond will turn out to be the goalkeeper of the year, bailing this bad defense game in and game out. And also Douglas Costa can really revert to his form that he's shown in Bayern and Juventus, and turns out to be one of the better signings that the Galaxy have made, signing a well-known European star player since a certain name David Beckham and Robbie Keane that they had a couple of years ago. Minnesota, why they can win MLS Cup? Oh, actually, I skipped LAFC. I mean, why should I not forget about LAFC, aka the team that is definitely going to be an MLS Cup contender again, according to the media. But why they can win MLS Cup besides the media loves them and the fact that they feel like they're going to be a cup contender and the favorites this year is because they definitely have a lot of good pieces on the attack and in the midfield and a little bit on the defense, but also getting a top 5 goalkeeper in Maxime Crepeau can maybe solidify a back line, and kind of what I just said about the Galaxy, where their goalkeeper is going to try to bail out the bad back line throughout the game. But going forward on the attack, when you have Carlos Vela, and especially from what I've talked about earlier in the news of the week, if this indeed is his last year and he's going to go all out, yeah, this LAFC team has a big opportunity to win MLS Cup. And I even have mentioned the likes of Brian Rodriguez, Chicharango, and even Latif Blessing really make this attack one of the most scariest attack in the league this upcoming season. Minnesota, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, Reynoso will go back to his 2020 playoff MVP form, and not to mention they finally might have got the goal scored in Luis Almeria to be a 15-plus goal scorer. I mean, I'm not going to go too extreme and say he's going to score 25 goals like he said a couple of years ago, but he's going to be a guy that's going to score at least 15-plus goal. Adrian Hunou will also chip in with 10-plus goal, and Franco Fragapane will also chip into that goal scoring chart too. And not to mention, their backline also will look like the solidified backline that we've seen in 2019 and 2020. This team has a big opportunity to be an MLS Cup contender. Nashville, why can they win MLS Cup? Well, because they're the toughest team to beat, and that Gary Smith has continued to make this team a really tough team to play because they have the best defense in the league, period. I mean, this defense is probably, well, not just probably, but the most stingy defense in the league. And I did say before what I said with the Red Bulls, defense wins championship, and there's a chance that Nashville can definitely prove that theory right if they win MLS Cup this season. The Portland Timbers, why they can win MLS Cup this season? Because a lot of these players are still hurt from last season of not winning MLS Cup at home, and it's just going to be an extra motivation for them to get the job done. And not to mention, Sebastian Blanco is going to finally take the torch that was passed on from Diego Valeri, and he's going to be the main focal point and definitely be competing for MVP for this upcoming season. RSL, why can they win MLS Cup? They'll have another miracle run like we saw last season. I mean, somehow they'll kind of shithouse their way to an MLS Cup by accident, and then also maybe do what the Rapids did back in 2020, or not 2020, but back in 2010, of being one of the lower seed, making the playoffs, but somehow able to go all the way before winning MLS Cup this year. The San Jose Earthquakes. Why can't they win MLS Cup? I mean, I had to laugh because, I know for a fact that, even though I know the Quakes have won MLS Cup during my lifetime because, they won it during 01 and 03 and that was still during my lifetime, even though, back in 01 I was only 3 years old, and 03 I was only 5 during that time, and I'm pretty sure during that time I didn't even know the Quakes exist, but still, in terms of them winning another MLS Cup for the rest of my lifetime, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it is going to happen in this year, well, somehow when you look at this team, this is an underrated MLS Cup contender team. If guys like Iboasi can be like what he was with the Portland Timbers a couple of years ago, scored a bunch of goals. Trophies Lopez is finally the missing number 10 piece that we needed. Espinoza can look like the Christian Espinoza we saw when he came into the league and after he signed a record transfer fee. And also I mentioned the midfield. It's probably one of the most stacked midfield in the league. And then at the back, maybe guys like Beeson and Nathan is going to have an incredible year. And not to mention JT Marcinkowski is also going to be considered a top 5 goalkeeper if he is able to perform well enough to guide this team to MLS Cup along with all these other players. But yeah, I feel like that's not going to happen because, they're the Quakes, but, I have to always come up with a reason of them why they're going to win MLS Cup. Seattle, why they can win MLS Cup? Because they're the Seattle freaking Sounders. I mean, what did you think why that's not even a question of why they can win MLS Cup, because they're going to with the squad that they have, which is the most dangerous squad out of any team, and not to mention pretty much everyone have said that this team is going to be the favorites of winning MLS Cup, and finally maybe the media has started to stop drinking the Kool-Aid of LAFC being an MLS Cup favorites. Yeah, I mean the Sounders, I think they are the most likely to win it again, which is definitely going to be bad news for the other 27 fan base, because I'm pretty sure the other 27 fan base will not be happy seeing the Sounders winning MLS Cup again because of the dominance that they have shown for now almost a decade and a half ever since they came into the league. For Sporting KC, why they can win MLS Cup? Well, they can finally make amends of what happened in the playoffs, where they always tends to choke in the big moment. But it's also the fact that, they're going to prove that they don't really need Alan Pulido as the guy that will take them over the mountain, and that maybe we might be a little bit over dramatic talk about how Pulido's injury is derailed their MLS Cup champion. And especially Johnny Russell is going to be that difference maker, and that Daniel Sharry continue to have a career year like he did last season. Yeah, this is a team that could definitely win MLS Cup this year, and especially if the road to MLS Cup does go to Children's Mercy Park. And I know, yes, Sporting KC has had some disappointing playoff defeat at home, but that is still one of the toughest places to play in the playoffs or in the regular season, and that it's going to be even tougher knowing the fact that these players will have that motivation that this is finally the year. We're going to end that narrative of a team that always tends to burn out when the playoffs begin. And also, let's just throw in the fact that Peter Vermees finally realized that substitution is actually a thing, and that he's going to actually rotate and not run the team to the ground and burn this team out before the playoffs, of course, begin. And then finally, the Vancouver Whitecaps. I mean, you know, Vanni Sartini. There's a reason why Vancouver is VAN, because it stands for Vanni Sartini, and that he is going to continue that spiritual kind of run that they had last season, but only this time they're going to actually win MLS Cup, like they win MLS Cup, and all those talented player that they had last season with the likes of Brian White and Ryan Gull, that I think is going to have career year for them to win MLS Cup. That, of course, is kind of the reason why this team can win MLS Cup this year. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of looking at every single team that can and look at why they can win MLS Cup this year. And again, obviously, you know, in an alternative universe, or even in a utopia universe, it would be great to see every single team win MLS Cup next season. But in reality, only one team, of course, we're going to talk about in November that is going to crown as champion of this season. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who, of course, is going to do. And also, this is a good chance to let me know in the comments below what do you think is going to be the favorites this season to win MLS Cup, and who you're going to pick in terms of winning MLS Cup this season. And also let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video, and how I'll react to some of the silly things that I've also said in terms of some of these teams have a big opportunity to win MLS Cup, even though that seems like a pipe dream, and the world would definitely be turned upside down if that what I said in this video would actually turns out to be true, especially with one of these teams that is rebuilding. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.